quick one for today. Well, today's quick video. Today I want to have a bit of a rant, so to speak, because we often talk about autism being a spectrum, different presentations of autism, the same with PDA, but what I want to throw out there is you could take 100 children with the same diagnosis and never get to the same, because every single child, regardless of the diagnosis, is an individual person. How their neurodivergence, their diagnosis, their difficulties, whatever you want to call it, impacts on them and their life is very different to the next person. And I think this, for me, is the biggest challenge, especially across education, because one of the things that never works is this one size fits all in training. So it's like when the government proposes that more primary schools and more secondary schools are going to have more robust training. It's generic training, so it's training on the basics of an area. You can never ever go further than that, because to do that you need to know the profile of the person, the child, the young person you're working with, and how it impacts them. And this is where we see a lot of the struggles in our community, because it doesn't do that. Therefore, because of the individual needs of our child and how that impacts their life doesn't come across and is not trained for, our children then struggle because they're expecting them to respond to the generic training offered that they say autistics will respond to, and we know that's not true. And like I said, it's not just autism, it's not just PDA, it's not just ADHD, it's every single area. If they've got DLD, developmental language disorder, if they've got developmental coordination disorder, if they've got sensory difficulties, if they've got cerebral palsy, if they've got Angelman syndrome, if they've got Willie-Prowder syndrome, if they've got Down syndrome, if they've got fetal alcohol syndrome, we could sit here forever naming them all. Every single child is unique and different, and how those difficulties and those differences impact on them in life is what we lack in education. It's accounting for them, and I think that for me is where a lot of training falls down. I know myself, we're a house full of autistic people. There's 5 of us, we're all autistic, we're all different. ADHD, we're all different. We've got 3 very, very active, very hyper-aware ADHDers. We've got 2 inattentive ADHDers, and we've got 1 ADHDer that is so internalised that they appear not to be hyperactive at all, but there are all the hyperactivities in their head. And it's the same with PDA. We've got 4 different people in the house with a PDA profile, but they all exist and impacted in a very different way. And how we each person is very different depending on that, and I think that's what we need to take account more when we're going forward, and also appreciate that person. A lot of what we see in reports, a lot of it is medicalised language, it's very deficit based, it's very negative and not very nice, to be honest, and that needs addressing too, massively needs addressing. We've got to remember that we read these things. And I've read things about myself lately, in particular from doing PIP, and where they've been quite negative about how I am, or I've been to a universal credits appointment where I've basically been told, well, if I need PIP I shouldn't be working. That's not true. And we're all different, we all present different, we all impact different, and we all need different supports, but with the right support we do achieve and we do move forward, and that's what we should be looking at. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting, everybody. Bye.